2 million years ago, the ocean had a king, one so massive, entire whales vanished in a single bite. A 60-foot shadow with 7-inch teeth and a bite force stronger than Tyrannosaurus rex. It wasn't a fish or a shark, it was Megalodon, the largest predator to ever exist. And what if it never went extinct? Megalodon's story doesn't begin with a full skeleton or even a skull. It begins with teeth, millions of years old, razor-sharp, and terrifyingly large. These weren't the kind of fossils you needed to squint at in a museum display. They were massive, thick as your palm, serrated like saw blades, some stretching over 7 inches long, enough to make a great white's teeth look like baby shark bites. For centuries, they were misunderstood. Ancient Greeks called them tongue stones, believing they had fallen from the skies or belonged to dragons buried beneath the earth. It wasn't until the 17th century that the truth began to surface. In 1667, a Danish naturalist made a bold claim. These so-called tongue stones weren't mythical, they were shark teeth, fossilized evidence of a predator lost to time. But not just any predator. Centuries later, as paleontology advanced, scientists began assembling a picture from the scattered teeth. The results were staggering. A jaw that could open 10 feet wide, bite force estimated at over 40,000 pounds per square inch, stronger than T-Rex. A body stretching beyond 60 feet, with a tail powerful enough to shatter bone on impact. They named it Megalodon. But here's where the mystery deepens. We have no complete skeleton, no skull, no spine, only teeth, vertebrae fragments. The ocean never gave us the full picture, just glimpses, and those glimpses are everywhere. Megalodon teeth have been found on every continent except Antarctica, buried in cliffs, washed up on beaches, even pulled from the seafloor by fishing trawlers today. Almost as if the ocean is still shedding its secrets, one tooth at a time. You've seen sharks, sleek, cunning, apex predators of the modern sea. Now, erase that image. Because Megalodon wasn't just a bigger version of today's great whites. It was something entirely different. A marine monster born of deep time and raw evolutionary power. At its peak, Megalodon stretched up to 60 feet long, longer than a school bus, wider than a shipping container, and nearly as heavy as a small private jet. Its body wasn't built for speed, it was built for destruction. A tail like a battering ram, one swing could break ribs, muscles thick enough to punch through waves like a missile. And at the front, a mouth that was more like a meat-grinding vault in the jaw. The bite radius alone was wide enough to engulf a car. Inside were 5 rows of teeth, 276 in total, each serrated like steak knives, each as long as your hand. Modern sharks test their prey, circle, taste. Megalodon didn't bother. It went straight for the kill zone. The rib cage, to collapse the lungs. The fins, to disable escape. The skull, to end it instantly. Its prey? Ancient whales the size of buses, colossal sea turtles with armored shells, giant fish we haven't seen in 2 million years. None of them stood a chance. And Megalodon didn't need to eat often, but when it did, it devoured. A single whale could fuel it for weeks. Scientists estimate its bite pressure at over 40,000 pounds per square inch, stronger than Tyrannosaurus rex. Think about that. A shark that could crunch through bone, blubber, and steel hard cartilage like it was wet paper. But here's what truly made Megalodon terrifying. It was strategic, intelligent, calculated. It stalked the edges of whale pods, stayed low, watched, then struck from below with a vertical assault that was sudden, brutal, and inescapable. Imagine a 60-ton blur erupting from the ocean floor, jaws wide open, lifting a whale 40 feet into the air before dragging it under in a cloud of blood and silence. That wasn't fiction. That was Earth, just 2 million years ago. And we only know fragments, just teeth and a few vertebrae. No eyes, no skin, no full skeleton, just enough to remind us. The most terrifying predator this planet has ever known might still be out there, hiding where sonar doesn't reach. So, what if Megalodon never left? The ocean today may look different, but in many ways it's still the same vast, cold, uncharted wilderness it was millions of years ago. And within that wilderness, the rumors haven't stopped. In 2014, researchers tracking a 9-foot great white shark off the coast of Australia noticed something strange. Its tag, which recorded temperature and depth, suddenly spiked in heat from 46 degrees Fahrenheit to 78 degrees Fahrenheit, while plunging 2,000 feet into the abyss. The only explanation? The shark was eaten, swallowed whole by something far larger. Scientists were baffled. Whatever devoured it had a body temperature far warmer than the surrounding water, consistent with a massive, fast-moving predator. Then, there are the sonar readings. Commercial vessels in the Mariana Trench have occasionally picked up unexplained moving objects the size of submarines, moving faster than any known creature. They dive too deep, they disappear too quickly, and they leave no trace. Fishermen from Mexico to South Africa have reported seeing giant shadows beneath their boats, longer than their vessels, moving without a ripple. Veteran sailors tell stories of disappearing whales, half-eaten carcasses washed ashore with clean bite patterns far too large for any known predator. Even naval logs, declassified in fragments, mention massive sonar anomalies or unidentified submerged objects near deep ocean fault lines. Could they be mistakes? Misreadings? Sure, but they could also be something else, something ancient, something that doesn't want to be found. Skeptics argue the modern ocean can't support a predator that size. Not enough food, not enough warmth. But what if it doesn't need the shallows? The deep sea is home to giant squid, colossal sharks, and creatures that glow in the dark, many of them discovered only in the last 20 years. If Megalodon adapted to the cold, if it learned to feed deep and rise rarely, could it survive? Could it still rule the darkest parts of the sea? We don't know, and that's what makes it terrifying. Megalodon didn't go out with a bang. There was no asteroid, no sudden extinction event. Its end came the way most giants fall, not in violence, but in silence. Roughly 2.6 million years ago, Earth began to change. Ocean temperatures dropped, glaciers spread, and sea levels began to fall. The once tropical waters that had fed Megalodon's rise began to cool, too much for a cold-blooded predator the size of a box truck. Its food supply also changed. The massive whales it hunted started migrating, evolving, getting faster and smarter. At the same time, new predators arrived. Smaller, more agile. Early orcas, killer whales, began to hunt in packs. What Megalodon could do with power, they did with coordination. In a colder, faster, more competitive ocean, the apex titan started falling behind. Its size, once its greatest strength, became a liability. It needed more food, more heat, more territory, and it couldn't adapt fast enough. The ocean turned on its king. Some scientists believe it lasted longer than we think, maybe even as recently as 1 million years ago. But eventually, the trail went cold. No new teeth, no more bite marks, no sightings, just silence. The ocean buried its legend. Or did it? Could it return? If we brought Megalodon back, what would we do with it? Scientists envision containment tanks, reinforced pens, ocean sanctuaries spanning miles, lined with tracking buoys and sonar fences. But here's the problem. We've never contained a predator like this before. We're not talking about a dolphin or even a killer whale. We're talking about a 60-foot, 60-ton apex predator with jaws capable of cracking steel. A creature designed to hunt by stealth, by silence. Let's say we succeed in cloning one. It grows, fast, too fast. The pen is upgraded, reinforced. But soon, the Megalodon needs more space, more food. It gets restless. Then, it tests the barrier, not once, but hundreds of times. Sharks are known to map their surroundings, remember weak points. They're problem solvers, especially when they're hungry. One night, a storm cuts the power. The electric fence drops for 3 minutes. That's all it needs. The ocean swallows it whole. Gone. No trace. No noise. Just open water. The headlines start quietly. Marine facility reports equipment failure. Whale pods disappearing in the Pacific. Then the footage leaks. A cruise ship's sonar picks up a shadow the size of a submarine, trailing beneath the hull. A container ship vanishes off the coast of Chile. A coastal research drone records a massive tail breaching the surface, then vanishing in an instant. Governments panic, scientists deny, and the ocean remains silent. Because if Megalodon ever escaped, it wouldn't attack a beach. It wouldn't announce itself. It would do what it did best: disappear, lurking in deep channels, following migrating whales, watching ships pass overhead like birds flying past a lake. And by the time we realized what it was, it would be too late to stop it. Because we didn't recreate a relic. We resurrected a ghost, one built to dominate the ancient world and now loose in ours. So maybe Megalodon is gone. Maybe. But the ocean is deep, colder than space, darker than night, and far older than anything we've put in a textbook. We've explored more of Mars than we have of Earth's sea floor, and every year we discover something new, something ancient, a new trench, a tooth with no known match, a shadow on sonar, too big, too fast, and completely unexplainable. Some say Megalodon died millions of years ago. Others aren't so sure. Because legends don't need to be seen. They just need to be felt, in the ripple beneath your boat, in the silence before the breach, in the scream that never reaches the surface. So next time you look out across the open sea, ask yourself, what if we didn't find Megalodon? What if it's waiting for us to come closer? Thanks for watching, and until next time on Our Planet Extinct.